bum, 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 bum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Doomcast number 78. My name is Charlie McGrath. I am joined by my co-founder, co-host Doug Owen.
Hello.
As always, hello, Doug Owen.
Hey.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Doomcast 78. Yeah, it's been a rough month for both of us, I think, Doug Owen.
It's been doomy, no doubt about it. It's going to be back, though. We've made it for another week.
Yeah.
So it's not too doomy. It could be worse.
It could be way worse. Way. In fact, this month's actually been pretty good news-wise for me, but as far as the program and this program and my rinse program, and there's just times of the year where that everything seems to get thrown to the back burner. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's
and this time of year is the setting stuff up for the spring and the summer, and as far as my business goes, so I have to be out there making money, I guess. Trying to make money, I guess.
Ooh, what's that sad music?
I thought that was...
I don't know what that is, but I like it.
I do too. How apropos.
You need some... let's see. You need some depressing music, right? All right, so go ahead. Tell us about your bad day today.
Is it what is that? Is that the Cisco hold music?
I don't know. It's on my phone. It's when I change the volume, I think this is to let me know what it's at.
Oh my god, I think I have it on my phone too. It's just the crap that comes on your phone.
It's the crap that came on the phone, but it's perfect. I think it is apropos for the news you were telling me before the show, and I don't know if we want to go there.
Yeah, but then you're telling me about people were complaining. I had a lot of good emails because of the personal garbage I've been dumping out on the program, but.
Well, I think that it's great because people that care about you as a person and I as a person more than maybe the entertainment factor or the informational value of the show, and care about your life, those people are going to be vocal. I was just saying that I think, with more of the personal stories and the, insight into our lives that's not always, it's just not newsy. You're not going to get a lot of people to pick it up. So that's why I think that the numbers on some of these, videos, yeah, there you go. You've got it too. The numbers are pretty low because, people aren't going to put it on their website. Yeah, they're talking about the false flag. Could be this, could be that. Information about the inevitable, the veritable economic collapse. All of those things that are more popular than you and I talking about your asthma, my bad day, my sadness, my son.
Your electronic issues.
Yeah, the Touch Mix 16, all of those things.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, I am I certainly don't have to share that stuff. No.
I think it's great. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Great.
I think you're great, Charlie McGrath.
I think you're great. Well, okay, so this will be the last personal story of this program, and I'm going to try to make it real quick.
Okay.
Because it's really not my
No. I don't want to curtail you. Don't take me wrong. I think that, some people are not going to be, it's not going to be as widely accepted. I mean, things that are like 5 minutes long that are really scary at a time when we have, really crazy cataclysmic things that are happening or terror events, you're always going to have more traffic. When there's a shooting, there's more people going to Drudge Report or going to blacklistednews.com.
Sure.
When there's,
absolutely.
So that, that's not because.
What's weird though? What's weird is everything that you just mentioned there. I mean, in the last week, we've had, a little taste of that in our world. But what I was thinking when I was out in Portland and in Eugene this past week, I was texting you and producer Craig. And letting you guys know how the week was shaping up here, but I'm following these news stories, and I'm like amazed at how desensitized the nation is when it comes to every. I mean, if it's terror, if it's a police state, if it's potential, geopolitical implosion or return of a Cold War, it's just not even really talked about, And I've yet to find a place in the country, a segment of the country. I would say probably the Pacific Northwest is as awake as anywhere else.
Right.
And then secondly would be the western half of Canada. When I've been up there, they seem to be really, really uniquely inept.
No.
seem unique in the fact that they understand what's going on and are not afraid to talk about that kind of thing. But when I go to like Denver or when I go to the South, it's like, oh God, it's like a wet dream. They just came out of the sniper and they're all patriotic and we got to kill us commie for mommy or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we have, this shooting with these Muslim kids over parking and it's sensationalized for 5 minutes and then it just carries on.
Muhammad Jihad.
Yeah, exactly. And we have wild allegations coming out of Kiev that are actually that was probably the most scary news that I looked at this week was this report coming out of Kiev to one of our key senators showing Russian tanks crossing the border. And then we find out, within 24 hours that they're not doctored photos, they're old photos from 2008 in the South Ossetia conflict.
Really?
Did you see this? Yeah.
Well, I didn't believe him from the get. I didn't really pay that much attention.
Well,
I put him up because
system.
the New York Times, this guy alleges that these are images. The images were there. I looked at them on Twitter. I can't tell. You can't tell. I mean, I have no idea. Even if I was an expert, an analyst for the CIA, like you said, it could be at any time, and the media and the government people in government have no problem lying to justify wars. And I think that we have, empirical evidence that suggests and proves that to be true. So, like you said, I mean, the reason that you're becoming desensitized and everybody else is because it's just constant barrage of drama, being scared, superstorms that don't necessarily unfold. You just get on this ride. It's like a roller coaster. Hey, love.
Yeah.
Looking beautiful. Yeah. So
hey,
not you.
Look, you're looking beautiful too, Doug. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a squirter, Dale.
Well, thanks.
Dale.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Shut up. That's
weird. Did you get my Valentine from?
Did you send me one?
Special picture that I sent you and
whoa! What are you sending?
Snapchat.
What are you sending pictures of? What's wrong with producer
ham and
Craig?
eggs.
Craig's off the rail, man.
Why?
Some of that stuff he was sending this week. We had to kind of browbeat him down a little bit there
while you were hunting squatches in the Northwest.
He's sending some, and I told him, I said, you better tame it down a little bit or Owen's going to have a heart attack.
Oh man, I've been dealing with my own stuff, my own little, battle that I have at work with the New World Order, with surveillance, with the new reality that I should just accept. But
I want to hear about it.
Well, I've been writing this letter, and I'm
to whom?
To all people above me, administrator types and supervisor types and owner
types. Okay, so let me get
types.
this straight. You're writing a memo for work.
Not for work. Not
okay.
necessarily for work. It's not a work memo. It's a memo to people.
Is it personal or does it have to do with business?
It's both. Both.
All right.
Oh, well, I don't mind. I would rather read it in full. I can give you some of the excerpts, but
I want to hear this because right now it sounds like a manifesto, and they're probably it sounds like you're going to create a manifesto and you're going to scare the hell out of people. So you might want to break that down a little.
All right, here we go. Howdy, people, staff at said company. I would like to announce that blank maintenance department, at the request of our assistant director blank, our director David blank, has decided to install GPS tracking monitoring systems on employees driving business vehicles. Maintenance staff have been told that this is not due to lack of trust in maintenance employees, but rather a way of helping us find better ways to drive about. So, as everyone knows, a healthy relationship, whether it be personal or professional, requires trust. Trust is a major building block for which we base most of our decisions. Case in point, my supervisor trusts me to perform my duties for the blank in efficient and I need to add an A. We can proofread as we go here.
In an efficient?
Because there's another vowel there. Efficient and professional manner. I have worked for blank for over 10 years, and I've never betrayed the trust my supervisor puts into me. He trusts me because I always conduct myself in a professional and ethical manner while doing business for the blank. That trust allows my supervisor to focus on his important duties rather than micromanaging me because he knows that I always do the best job I can with the best interests of the blank at heart. One of the great things about our blank maintenance department is that people working here to keep the buildings in great shape are vested employees that want what is best for the blank company. Maintenance personnel do not have short-term profit motives when addressing issues and repairs. Businesses that use outsourcing agencies veritably end up with cheap, shoddy, and short-term fixes that lead to even more costly repairs in the long term, not to mention substandard response times and a general lack of concern over your quality of service. Your maintenance technicians know the company inside and out and can quickly address issues because they are familiar with the buildings. They have a context and history of past issues to base their decisions on, which gives them better insight to what needs to be done. Those are just a few of the many reasons you can put trust in knowing that the goal of your blank department is to provide top-notch service. Happy administrators and staff are the metric of success in your world. Now, here's where it turns dirty. Or not dirty,
Okay.
just this is where I start getting livid. It's not always easy to trust. I should skip these two paragraphs because they're very personal, and I don't know if I'm going to enter them or not. They're kind of an
Skip
attack.
them.
Those are vengeful. Most of you probably think that tracking every move by employees while on the clock is no big deal. Surveillance is inexpensive. Surveillance is inexpensive, prevalent, and widely accepted as normal today. I, too, accept this is the new normal. For many of you will respond, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. I ask this to all staff administrators, including the big dog, who are being compensated for using your own personal vehicles while doing blank business. Would you be offended if I propose putting GPS trackers on your vehicles during working hours in an effort to reduce windshield time? How about those of you that are being paid stipends for your cell phones? What if you were asked to let your boss or the general public go through your call logs, text messages, voicemails, Facebook, Twitter, so on? A lot of you would think that that's going too far. Most of you would do it because you want to keep your careers, but you would feel like you are not trusted. You would feel like you are being treated like a criminal. That is true because the state puts trackers on criminals paroled on probation because those people have been convicted of crimes and are deemed not trustworthy. By placing GPS trackers on maintenance vehicles, knowingly or not, you are saying that you don't trust employees. And if that is true, why is it that they should trust you? Many times and that's where it stops. Then I haven't got past this, but basically the idea is that, what starts with the low man on the totem pole, the hourly guy out there that's doing his job. There's always somebody like, well, we need to micromanage you. We can do something better with it. And what happens is that, you realize that you're faced with these things that you're always talking about. And it's not so much that I think that they're overly oppressive, but people, they go down this path and they start, going after other people because they think that they're exempt from it. You see it in government. Oh, well, this isn't going to apply to
Absolutely.
me. My Samsung TV isn't going to be listening to me. Oh, yes, it is, Senator. Oh, yes, it is, my friend.
Yeah.
It
No, I
probably
agree
more
with you.
so.
I have a couple questions, though. Can I?
Sure.
This upgrade in surveillance or this next step in surveillance is the gist of your letter, right?
Well, yeah, they're putting
addressing
this is the deal. They're going to put GPS trackers on us, and then every minute you account for somewhere, they're going to selectively go after people they don't like, and probably just chastise every move they make. But the reason that they're doing that is because they think it only applies to us, not them, and it will apply to them.
You mean them being middle management or what?
Yeah, middle management, all of those administrators, supervisor types.
Here's the deal. They being as I've dealt with a little bit of this, Doug Owen. I mean, we're not a huge company, but we're 100 plus employees, and more importantly, we have many vehicles. Some of them which are 18-wheelers, some are 2 tons that run around town, some are just cars that our salesmen use.
Right.
Are they looking to single out only the support guys, the tech guys like
Well,
you?
that's where it starts, right?
Okay.
Let's see.
You want my take in a nutshell?
On what? On my letter?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, I mean your letter. I like your letter that you're addressing it, but um, I got a feeling that the solution it can't apply to personal vehicles. They can't do that. Even if you're getting mileage, they can't.
Why not? Why not? You're getting
because
paid for it. You're getting
because they don't own the
compensated.
vehicle.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that.
It does matter.
No, hell no.
It does
doesn't.
matter. They cannot look. I couldn't put if I was taking my personal vehicle.
Right.
I couldn't. I shouldn't say my company couldn't put a GPS locator on it without my permission, regardless if
Well,
I'm
they
using
can't do it.
for-
I mean, they can't do it without my permission. It's not like they're doing it secretly. They're just saying, look, if you want to get paid from us, we're putting GPS trackers on this truck. Okay, this is our truck, and we're going to put it on there. And your boss could say, look, I want proof that you're going to these places. I've got an app on a smartphone. If you want me to pay you, carry this tracker. He could say that. He could give you that ultimatum, and then you have a choice, just like I do. Okay,
Yeah, I think if they own that vehicle, you don't have a lot of ground to stand.
No, you don't. But what I'm saying to them is that absolutely not. It's their vehicle. They can do it. Is that it's going to be counterproductive. It's going to make people. It's not a matter of whether you can do it. Yeah. But see, you come for me, sooner or later, somebody's going to see you going for me, and they're going to come for you. Okay?
Absolutely.
And then
No, I
the
agree with
public, everybody else is going to want to come after you.
Right.
The problem
and
is,
if it isn't on their, this middle management set, if it isn't on their company sedan, then it will be on their company
But it could be on their sedan.
company cell phone.
and it will be on their company sedan. It will be on their app. It will be a Bluetooth device in their truck that tells them. It's going to be the 2015 black boxes that are going to be giving that information. They're not even going to have to. These businesses are going to be tapping into your stuff. So if you're driving, and it doesn't, I mean, so the only way that you really escape it is either A, you illuminate those above you that, you can do this, but you're not going to get more productivity out of people. You're just going to make them feel like drones, and you're going to make them feel like whatever, man, because there's no trust there. And that's what I haven't articulated at the end of this, is that if you don't have a valued amount of trust in your employees and you don't treat them like professionals, then they're just going to do the bare minimum. And they're just going to sit on their butts somewhere rather than working because they know that GPS system's tracking how many hours they're at whatever place, making sure that they, work the numbers, because this is the truth, okay? For all of you out there in the professional careers, or any of you out there that are in cubicle land, you're not going to get over on an hourly employee. It's just not going to happen. Because when you try, as you do, and that's one of the things that I mention about the whole maintenance department that I work for, is that we're vested and we have interest in the company because we work there. We have we have a vested
Doug, are you
interest.
hourly? Are you salary or hourly? Hourly.
I am hourly.
Okay, all right.
But it goes off based on a 265-day work week, or 264. Sure. So I know what I'm going to make. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. I'm in a little different boat. I mean, I'm salary, so they can work me to death.
Right.
and there's no understanding of further compensation. But in hourly, you're right. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that an hourly employee will make sure that he gets his pay that he's deserved and owed.
Oh yeah, and the more miserable you make people, then the less they're going to find value in doing a good job for you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Whatever. You guys don't value me anyway because you're treating me like a criminal, and that's how I feel. And this is the problem. I just think that these people, they think it's cool, they think it's great to monitor people, they think it's effective or whatnot, and they think that they're going to get over. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to get over. You might make my life miserable if I continue to work here, and maybe by highlighting that, you're private cars, okay, and if you think it's okay for me, then you should have no problem. I mean, that's really if you don't want to put it on your card, your personal card during the day, or you think you're exempt from that kind of scrutiny, then you're a hypocrite. And I'll tell you to your face.
Are there personal cars, company cars still?
No, they get paid though.
Okay.
They're getting paid. They get a stipend for their cell phones, right? I get a stipend. They give me, I think, $40 a month, which is whatever. It's like half the bill or something.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game.
So what they could say is, well, because here's the thing, you can make and dictate anything you want. Oh wait,
I didn't do that.
Oh no, that's the deal. We went into sheeple land. I think it was telling you that you're becoming a sheeple.
Listen to me. There's a world of difference between a $40 stipend or a $400 stipend for a car, or there's a world of difference between that, which is part of your pay package, and you driving a car that you do not own.
Okay, well, here you go. What do you think about this? How about the federal government? Pretend that I don't work for a company. Okay, the corporation is now the government. The government's the corporation nation. Okay, the government says, "Hey, you know what? We don't believe you, Charlie McGrath. You know what? When you drive, you've got to use a government GPS." Okay. Now you can tell private sector, go F yourself, man. Yeah, that's what I can tell my boss. You know what, dude? That seems pretty intrusive, and I'm not for it. And he can tell me to go take a hike. But what happens here is what gets implemented everywhere. Once people become okay with this and they think it's fine because it's for the other guy, first they came for them. First it was that department and they started, Jose was at his lunch too long, or Jose got caught at the strip club in a company truck or whatever it is. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh man, those landscaper guys, they got to have trackers in their truck. And next thing you know, it's coming for you. And it's not even the fact, that I'm not doing anything wrong. I do my job every day. It's really not going to affect me, other than it makes you, I want more of a clarification of what's okay and what's not okay, because the stated fact that they're going to help me reduce windshield time is laughable at best.
Yeah,
okay, it's a direct lie, and I know it's a lie. So everything, we've started this off wrong. We've started this all off on a lie.
We've looked at doing this with our vehicles, especially our semi fleet.
Of course, yeah. And they're going to. See, this is the thing. This is inevitable.
But the lie is always the same. It's going to make your life better because it's going to reduce, like you said, the windshield time. That is not what it's about. It's about control. It's about trying to squeeze a few more nickels out of the service sector in your
and to selectively go after those they don't like and fire them. Because sooner or later you're going to be over 2 minutes.
There'd be a really tough time. I was going to say a little bit ago that I was going to call or send a lawyer that comes onto my program quite a bit, who's an advocate for, well, his genre is fraudulent foreclosure, but I know he's worked on
are those for squatters? Are those for the squatters? They're hanging out at the house. You're like, no, you don't have to get out of your house. You haven't paid in 5 years. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'll sell you a package.
Actually, he deals more with how the banks came to Florida and absolutely raped the public, and then had no responsibility. But my thought is this: they're going to have a tough time firing anybody that is doing the job the exact same way they did it the day before they put in these trackers as they did the day after.
Yeah, they're not going to do it now. It's just to give you shit and to make you feel like you're being watched all the time. And we're watching you, man. We're watching you. Just to let you know, got that tracker. I don't even know if they'll have any time to look at it, but somebody's going to call in and say, hey, we saw one of your trucks over there, and the guy's drunk as crap.
Insurance companies try to sell them too because
and they'll probably get a reduction in it.
Huh?
They'll probably get a reduction, safe drivers, and they'll probably get an alert. It'll send them a text message if somebody's going over 70 miles an hour. It's going to do all this stuff. I know the whole deal, man. But I'm just letting people know that they think they're exempt because they're getting some stipend. No, man, they're coming for you. They're going to come for you because somebody at some point is going to say, hey, man, it's
So when you go to work every day, do you jump in a do you like jump in a rig?
A big Chevy van, 3500, big.
Is it at your house because you get to take it home?
No,
or
I don't take it home.
Okay, so you're going to the office, getting in your van, working all day.
But I have to go on call, and then when I go on call and I drive the van, that thing's going to track me at home. So yeah, technically it would track me at home So yeah, I'm just not I'm not thrilled with it, man.
Are you going to tell them no, you're not doing it?
Man, that's why I've been so stressed. I've been wrestling with it, man. Because I tell you what, blacklistednews.com, the Doomcast is not going to be able to pay for baby Doomers' college education, and so
or that
so
10,000
anywhere I
square
go,
foot
here's the
palace
deal:
in
anywhere I
Boston.
go and do this type of work, any kind of service work, they're gonna have trackers, right? So that's just the norm. But what I think is different is that when I worked out in the private sector, when I worked out as a contractor for myself rather than out in corporate landscape, nobody told me when I had to go to lunch, and nobody sat there. And as long as we were making money and people were happy all the time, then nobody scrutinized your lunch. Nobody gave you crap. But there were times where there were guys that were like, "Hey man, are you on that job down in College Station?" Like, "Yeah, man." And you see that they're at the coast fishing or something else. They're somewhere where they're not supposed to be. So that stuff happens. I understand why they think they need it, but the current regime of people that are there are some slimy bastards, man. And I've been here for 11 years almost, and I don't know if all of the reasons that I like the job are quickly diminishing because we used to be valued, used to be considered professionals, used to be treated as professionals, valued. Now I have to hear about people being outsourced. Well, you want to outsource? I'm like, yeah, you know what? You want to wait 5 days to get a freaking light fixed? You know what? You do it and see how that works and see how many upset, pissed off people you have. And that's the thing. They don't understand this. They don't understand about people being vested. There's a common interest at heart when we're all on the same team. But if we all treat each other like criminals and we have no trust and no respect for each other's ability to do their job, then I don't know. Maybe people are kind of okay with that in a lot of ways. They're like, well, the government has to do that so I can be safe. And terror can come get me. And so
I'm the president. I am not.
Shit. So yeah, it's something that's been really, really hard to deal with because I'm really it's tearing me apart. I haven't had a fever blister, thank you herpes, in I don't know, like years.
Yeah.
And
now you're stressed out and you have one.
Yeah. I'm like, I've got a freaking sore on my lip. I'm breaking out in herpes for this goddamn thing. You son of a bitch.
Doug.
Yeah. What?
You were giving me a scenario, right?
That's what I want, Charlie. I want freedom. I want respect.
Well, I got a suggestion for you. First of all, you were trying to give me a scenario, Charlie. You work for the government and blah blah blah.
No. You got to pay your taxes to the government. The government wants to know everything about everything you do. How do you see? Right now, we keep a mileage log, right? So if you write it down, you give you a little book, and then if you get audited, hopefully they won't come for the next 5 years and really make you go and backtrack and do all of that. For most people, you get to write that off. At some point, if people in general, society does not embrace, the value of privacy and the value of trust. Even the old Reagan adage, trust but verify. That's where we're at. No, we just need to trust. Okay.
God, I can't believe this, but I'm literally taking the company's side on this. The more I think about it, and let me explain myself, okay, before you get mad. I know this is upsetting you to the point that you're breaking out in the plague. And
I am. I'm
blistering all over.
I'm not looking good here.
But I just have this.
Go ahead. You know what? I'm a contrarian all the time. I argue with you about whatever it is, and people get so mad at me.
If the companies own the vehicles, if the company...
It's not a matter of can they do it. I agree with you. They can do it. It's their property.
Let me finish. If I am getting a stipend, right, that's different. To me, that's part of my pay package. It was one of the reasons I came to work here were some of the bennies and my $400 or $500 a month stipend for a car and my $100 a month cell phone. That's part of my pay package, and you have no control over that. You're not.
If
going
I'm paying you to do business under my moniker for me, I should be able to I think. Then listen to all of your voicemails. I think I should be able to record everything you do, every text message that you send to clients.
I can't be a contrarian unless you let me finish.
All right.
Then, if that's the case, if you want to track me, if you want to watch the business that happens on my phone that you're paying me $40 a month for, or if you want to be able to track my vehicle that you're paying me $500 a month for, then I don't want a stipend. I want a company car. I want a company cell phone. And when I go into work at 8 o'clock in the morning,
oh well, they might do it if it was advantageous. If it was financially advantageous to them, they would. And once
you're not doing it to my personal car. You're not doing it to my personal cell phone. Is my stance. Even if I get a stipend, that's still my. It's registered.
So that's your
in my
line. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that your line in the sand is a little bit like 10
if they
feet,
own it. If I drive to that office in the morning and I log into the computer and that says what time I get to work, and then I go out and climb in a company van.
I don't disagree with you. I think that you're just saying the line is because it's your personal and you mix your personal with your business.
Right. And to answer your question with if you're on call and you take a rig home, I wouldn't. I would say, okay, I'll be on call, but you're not going to track me home. I'll drop the van off at the office. I'll go home, and if I get called in, I'll drive back to the office and get the van. But you're not going to track me to my place of residence or where I go on the weekend or whatever.
And we don't like that attitude, and we see where this is going, Mr. McGrath. And you don't sound like a company. You don't seem like a company player, my friend.
Okay.
And so what they'll do? This is what they'll do. Instead of firing you for that, they'll just wait until they get you somewhere where you took 34 minutes from your 30-minute lunch, and then they'll write you up, and they'll go through that process and make your life shitty. I can't even
begin to tell you how many cases of wrongful termination that I have seen, witnessed, and it's amazing.
Force reduction, man. Sorry, we didn't.
Well, it's also amazing how if the person that is fired is motivated, it's really, really difficult to fire somebody. It's really, really difficult, especially if you're changing the rules of the game. If they understand they were coming to work to do A, and then 5 years later you changed it, and now you want them to come to work, but under a different, persona, because it used to be this way, but now we're changing it. And then you end up getting fired because of that. They would have to have a lot of proof in your file. This is the slippery slope, and we're just talking about semantics. And I live in a right to work state. They can fire you for anything, okay? And you can be fired for just about anything. And I think that that's the way the world should work. You work for people, and they don't like you, then they can fire you. I don't think that I should be forced to give you money if I don't want to. If I'm a business, I don't believe that, because if you're in a state where you could just get fired because the guy doesn't like the shirt you wore to work,
you're in a state where that's happening right now, my friend.
Montana?
Yeah, every state, anywhere, people like, hey man, the dude stinks. Okay, next time somebody needs to get laid off, it's you. Okay, you're not cool. You know where most places I've worked, I'll tell you the truth. It's really how well you get along with other people as to how well you do. It's not about the productivity. It's about how cool you are to hang out with.
Do you know how terrified general managers are, even mid-level managers? Do you know how terrified they are of their employees filing a wrongful dismissal charge against them, or costing the company money because they've terminated somebody without every dot being dotted, every I being dotted, every
my
T
boss
being
has to go to classes on that. He goes to classes where they teach you how to fire people.
That's right. That's right.
It's no big deal. I mean, here's the thing: if they want me gone, I just commit and figure out what I'm going to do, and I don't know.
Well, I think what you should do is, in your letter, you put your line in the sand that's reasonable. And then, that's your evidence.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to make a line in the sand. I'm going to say, I'll probably go along with it, and maybe I'll end up getting.
You're bitching, but you don't really care if they.
No, I do. I want to bring up the point. I want to let them know that what they're doing isn't productive. That it makes people just like me feel like we're unvalued. And if that's what you're trying to do, by making people feel unvalued and not part of a team, but rather. The focus of a search, the focus of a dragnet, the focus of some investigation. If you want your employees to feel like that, it's fine. It's fine. But I don't think that's really what you want. Even they don't want that. I think I give them. Such
what they want? I'll tell you what they want. They want the exact same control over their employees who are out in the field
that they want over their wives.
As they have over their employees who are sitting in a cubicle. They want that exact same control. They want to know where they're at. From when they clock in until lunch, and then after lunch until they leave. They want to know what they're doing, if they're being productive. And I mean,
That's I mean, and here's the thing. That's where we come right back to, okay, it's never been about your privacy. It's been about technology makes it ineffective. If
Right.
a GPS tracker cost them $10,000, it wouldn't be even a question. Now that they're $200, and they've got all this intuitive software that's going to help you better route, and they can sit there and do an audit. I mean, I've seen all of the pitches, and one of these guys probably got paid off or got a big fat burger from some company that came by and said, "Hey man, have you thought about tracking everybody in your fleet?" I know where it goes, and ultimately, when you work for somebody else, you're at their behest. When you are, when you don't make your own rules, you have to follow somebody else's, and we have to make decisions about that. And
I
so that's
respect
why.
you for,
Go ahead.
I respect you for this reason, because you're probably the only person that works at that company that would have the balls to draft a letter to somebody above them. That
Nobody else will say this. I'm doing this
sure
for like 5,000 employees.
Yeah, you're doing it for you because you think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, because it's probably not going to change their mind. If anything, it's going to put me on the radar. I know what I mean.
You know what else? What else it's going to do is, it's probably going to give you a little bit of protection.
So when they fire me, I'll be like, it's because I sent out this mass letter.
Yep. And I tell you, I've sat in those meetings where they're looking at how much proof do we have? How can we get rid of this person? What are they? What do we have in their file? Have they ever been written up? Have they ever been late? This is the kind of stuff that that lawyers. This is why these scumbag lawyers, in a lot of cases, some are great. That are fighting for the advocate, but or they're advocates for the wrongfully terminated. But they have a field day if you have an employee file that's empty and the person's worked there since 2002. So they got 12, 13 years on board, and all of a sudden they're fired with an empty file. It doesn't really matter what that person says. They're going to have a huge leg to stand on when it goes before some judge, because they're going to say, whoa, he's crying. The fired employee is saying, hey, listen, I drafted this letter. I've worked for this company for 11 years. And within a year, there was so much crap getting flung at me every week. And, I felt like I was being singled out and blah, blah, blah. You would win that in a second. What you'd have to be worried for watching out for is turning in that letter. And then you start to see an avalanche of, hey, Doug, we're going to need to see you at 11 o'clock. We want to talk to you. And you're getting written up for whatever. Your truck wasn't quite as clean. We thought you were a little bit late. Anything they could put in the file.
I know, man. That's why I've written it out, and I just keep looking at it. I'm not sending it. I just I'm proofreading it. So it's my own little personal tragedy, my own little line in the sand. You got to decide if you're going to stay in for something or you're going to die for nothing. Do you want to be, you can make a few bucks an hour and hang out in a cubicle, or you can drive around in a van with me fixing junk, fixing broken electronics, and building automation systems so that a bunch of fat chicks in an office stay cool. And that's
whoa.
That's what's your day.
Wow, Egger. I was an outside sales rep.
Oh,
I was at.
You know what Sharpie says?
We much.
We got to.
We must.
We
will much.
We will much be about that.
We much. We must, and we will much about that be committed.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Owen.
Yeah.
I was an OSR, an outside sales rep, for 7 or 8 years with the company I'm with now, and you know what? I love that job. And
good for you, Charlie McGrath. Good for you.
Well, what?
Go ahead.
Why are you being all weird? And I would have probably been upset too if they said, because I was driving a company vehicle. It wasn't mine, but I would have just. Well, here's the other thing: the people who are outside of the office all day and are going to different locations every day. I'm going to speak for myself. There was a lot of screw off time too. Extra lunch, whatever. All of a sudden,
But that's why people were happy and they were working. Yeah. See, this is the thing.
Yeah.
You grind somebody and you make the job not worth having. See, when somebody goes out and looks for a job, okay, they want a job that has bennies, that's cushy, that's where there is a reasonable amount of workload, okay, a reasonable amount of time to do that, and a reasonable amount of vacation and other perks and bennies that go along with it. That's what makes it a great job. That's what makes it where people want to work. Okay, now you could turn your freaking your business into slavemart if you want to, but then people are not going to want to work there. They're not. There is no benefit. There is no incentive.
If you're going to turn this into
like I said, all the reasons I went there originally, and I thought it was a great job, those are quickly diminishing.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, if you started and it felt more like a mom and pop, but now it seems like they're trying to, they hired some MBA and they're trying to turn it into, this big corporate feel. I mean, I can understand not wanting to work for that. And the other
that's where we were at. I mean, it was a small business. I mean, less than 100 employees, and now it's been bought out twice, and its profits and the quarterly sales and what are returning. And when you have people in that kind of structure that are only there for short-term gain and thinking in a very short-term way, then you might look good for a while, and they'll rig a bunch of pie charts for you to make it seem like you're winning. You'll think, wow, man, there is an economic recovery. Everything's okay. It's all great, man. These guys are doing so good. Did you see that chart, man? Wow. And then one day, you have a bunch of disgruntled employees. Nobody's doing crap. Everybody's just, the morality.
And your good crew, your good blue collar crew has up and left because they were tired of. They were tired of.
Well, that's what happens. Atmosphere. Then you get all these. Then the people that you get are the low end people that are like, here's an example. You're in Austin. I don't know, but if anybody's listening and they're in a town like Lincoln, Nebraska, because we know we have listeners down there, or up in Canada, or wherever, and if you ask your dad or your grandpa, where would they go to buy building materials when they were, kids, or when they were in the business or whatever, they would tell you probably about a great, lumber yard that they went to, and they had knowledgeable staff, and they helped them with their project. Well, that is almost gone in this country now. So now you get the corporate flair, which is you get to walk into a Home Depot or a Lowe's where it is the bottom. I'm sorry, Home Depot and Lowe's employees, if you're listening. I know sometimes you have to take a job anywhere, but as far as in the building industry, it is the bottom of the rung. I mean, you better not have any hesitation on the project you're doing, because you're not going to get any help from these guys and gals that don't know anything about it. And I think inevitably, a service company, or I shouldn't call yours a service company, but your position where you're providing a service, technical support, technical service, I think the exact same thing could happen. They're talking about outsourcing it and letting they have no idea. They have no idea. And that's because you have people that are bureaucrats. You have people that have gone to business school, and they don't understand the entirety of what's happening. They don't understand the full spectrum of return on investment, and you see it with bankers, you see it with a lot of people in a lot of different fields and different places in the world.
The one thing you need to keep in mind too is there is a certain strategy that hey, Owen's been here 11 years, we're paying him $60,000 a year. Or he's making $60,000 a year because he's putting in all this time and his hourly wage is high. I mean, I know there's cases where they look for how to drum those people out so they can put in the guy who just finished college.
No, it's not like that where I'm at. There's a low base. There's a base pay starting for anybody in that position, and it's not much. I'm not that far ahead of it, so it's not like they're going to get somebody else in there for less.
On the cheap?
Nah. And if anything, I mean, I'm really invested in their retirement, so they have to pay out when I leave. So, I don't know.
What about hanging out your own shingle? Are you ever thought of that?
What?
Hanging out your own shingle?
My own shingle.
Going into business for yourself.
Man, yeah, but I mean, that's the other side of it. It would be so hard to do this. It would be so hard to focus on, world events and all the other things that I find dramatically interesting. It would be,
so
there'd be less time for my
oh my God!
Child.
I hope your boss isn't listening, because you're basically telling me with your job now you have plenty of time to screw around on the computer.
That's right. Yeah, I have a lot of time to do those kind of things. And that's one of the things that really benefits them is that I can be there to do what they need to do, and I can keep myself occupied when I don't have anything to do. And so that's to their advantage and their disadvantage because, here's the thing. I mean, you want me to sit somewhere for 2 hours and pretend that I was working? Fine. I'll do that. If you want me to, I can do that. You can follow me around on CCTV camera. And all I'll do is use lawyer speak. I don't recall. Doug, why were you in that room? I don't recall. Yeah. We can do that all day long if you want to scrutinize every little aspect of it. But then at some point, you're gonna have a miserable job too, because that's going to be your job, just following Doug around. Ooh, Doug did something. Ooh.
Yeah, but your point of how that infects the employees' morale is certainly true.
Well, then the job, it's not about getting the job done anymore. It's not about doing a good job.
It's about screwing the man.
It's about screwing the man. It's about just
not getting screwed by the man.
Right. It's just about sitting somewhere and doing whatever it is that looks good to the satellite. Now you're working for the damn satellite. You're working for the GPS.
Your first job when you go in the morning, you clock in,
right,
is to figure out how you can appease the satellite, and then everything else is secondary after that. Because
right.
The last thing you want to do is be caught somewhere where the satellite says you shouldn't be.
That becomes the primary focus for your day, is worrying about that satellite and worrying about what somebody else is going to interpret your actions, your moves, your
you could be the best tech that they have, but hey, it shows here on Thursday afternoon you went into a sporting goods store and you were there for 30 minutes. I got to write you up. Even though you're the best guy we got.
And everybody else, you're doing something. You could be doing something that's really productive all the time and be like a real great, technician and be, very professional and, screw off. Whereas people that are just not that good can go and do that same job and they could be really trying hard. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with that machine. You can have that guy and he could be there on the clock and charging you 5 times as much as I would. You can wait a couple days for that person to come by, but the reason that I have lots of time is because in my dealings, I deal with things pretty quickly, and I keep
you're experienced, so you know what's going on.
I'm very experienced, and in trades and understanding equipment and troubleshooting equipment. That's one of the reasons that I think that I like having philosophical debates and talking about politics and news, is because I like to fix things. The idea is that we got a problem. And so there's obviously a resolution.
Right.
It's just a matter of
big question.
What you have to do.
Are you going to send the letter?
Oh, yeah. It's just a question of who I send it to. How many people do I send it to, and how many other do I throw anything vindictive to? Any stabs at other people in the department?
No, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
So do I want to take the high road, or do I want to take the low road?
You want to take the high road.
That's what everybody keeps telling me, man. But
absolutely.
Look, the dark side is starting to consume me, Charlie McGrath, where I just want to
here's
throw
the thing. Whatever you write is going to end up in your file. So keep that in mind. And if you're sitting barbs out there at coworkers or middle management or management in general, that absolutely is going to be used against you someday if it ever came to termination. So I think you can bitch eloquently without and being on the high road at the same time.
You know what? I'm going to turn my ringtone. I'm going to turn my ringtone to this right here and turn it up really loud whenever I'm in buildings, so everybody can hear it. And
let me hear it.
I'm trying to set it up as I
Is
roll
it Baby
here.
Got Back?
What? Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, there's some of those really ridiculous, horrible, disgusting songs, that have really. There's this one about this chick being cheated on, and she wants to smell her guy's crotch. It's 5 in the morning. Let me smell you. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I don't even remember what the hell I was gonna. Oh yeah, I do. It was the. I'll play this.
I'm talking about the lizard Illuminati is real. Crawling up from under the ground. Come to get you. Come to take you. Come to get you. Get you hold your pride. The lizard Illuminati, they're coming to control your mind.
Yeah, that's your ringtone.
I'll make that. Or this one's better.
Illuminati coming in your face.
Yeah.
What's that from?
It's just, you know what? I follow this Reddit called Conspiratard, and there was this funny video of this chick making fun of kind of truthers, I guess. There's this sidewalk, and there's this little sign that says, "Open your mind." She goes down, and it's a one-person show with this crazy lady talking about chemtrails and 9/11 being an inside job, and Henry Kissinger and the Illuminati. The lizard Illuminati's real. So it was kind of funny. I was showing it to my wife. I mean,
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. It's,
Well, here
It's
we have,
almost too delicious to believe, my
Charlie
friend.
McGrath.
Yeah, it is that this hour is almost up, and here we are, another program where we just dealt with personal crap.
That's what it is, man. That's what it's supposed to be, obviously.
Well, no, listen, and I'm going to tell my little personal story. I know you have to roll. By the way, are you covered? Do you need a guest for a while, or you got tonight covered?
Oh, I got it. Unless you want to come on, I can bring you on.
I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to run out and pick up my son. He's at his girlfriend's house. Valentine's Day.
Go do your thing, man. Yeah, don't worry about coming back.
I'll be back in 30 minutes. So if you want me in your second half, let me know. But this week will be. I'm making a commitment to this week's show, which we should be able to do Wednesday or Thursday. I'm in town all week. I don't have to travel. A lot of news to cover that we didn't even touch anything on. But I'm going to end it on a very doomy note. And I was telling you this before the program, my girlfriend, the reason I was running a few minutes late tonight is because I was talking to her on the cell phone, and her dog is who she's had since 8 weeks old. And look, there's dog people, and then there's dog people, and she's a dog people. I mean, like, it might as well be her kid.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Okay, they're already hitting me on the other program. It's 9:03.
Okay,
but you
I'll
know
wrap
what?
it up.
Yeah, breaking news give it to everybody.
This has been Doomcast number 78.
Oh, wait. You're doing the outro. Hold on. We got to do this right.
You got me panicking.
No, I was going to say we'll save that happy news for next week. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Carlos okay. Max is he might be with some next show. My name's Charlie McGrath. My website is wideawakenews.com. My co-founder co-host is Doug Owen. blacklistednews.com. Doomcast.com is where producer Craig 33 puts up all the good stuff. Make it over there. Click on some stuff. Visit Doug's site. Visit my site. We'll see you next week. Doomcast 79. Peace out, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Fix your herpes, Owen.